Vice Chancellor Sir, and other distinguished guests, respected brothers and sisters, and beloved students of the city. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. India is a great country in the field of scientific manpower also. We know that India is holding the second position with respect to scientific manpower after United States in the world. We have a great number of doctors, postdoctoral researchers, postgraduates in various disciplines of science, and dozens or even hundreds of institutions and university departments conducting serious researches in various classical as well as modern disciplines, including biotechnology, nanotechnology, and all areas of significance. Though we are second in manpower in scientific enterprise, our contribution to the development of science the real contributions which count among the scientific community have been far less than what can be expected from the bigger community of scientific manpower in India. This is one area we have to bridge, and the hope is the youth who are conducting the research now and our beloved children, the boys and girls who are sitting here and in the various cities and villages, hundreds and thousands and lakhs of villages and townships in India. I hope it is going to be fulfilled. It must be, because the challenges before the world as well as our country are very great. The demand and struggle for resources, including the basic resources like water, energy, and food materials, all these challenges can be successfully handled and overcome with the help of the applied science, technology. And applied science comes from the basic science. Today's science is tomorrow's technology. It has always been recognized that science is power. More than that, Francis Bacon, I believe, had told hundreds and hundreds of years ago that knowledge is power. He had the idea of science in his mind. He himself was a scientist. And the idea is very clear. There is no dispute about it. But the matter, the science is power, is much more relevant and much more important in today's world society. Because science has been generating technology, the fruits which society can enjoy. This has always been there. But the pace of application of science has become very higher now. The social applications. Today's science is tomorrow's technology is almost literally relevant today. That's why in the coming struggle for the existing, in surpassing and overcoming the existing problems, and the coming problems for resources, for energy, for water, for food resources and minerals, we will have to come forward, and we will have to not only be a contributing, not only forming a greater scientific community, but contributing to the scientific knowledge. That way, in order to make our society much more a knowledge-based society, is a big challenge before us. But we cannot be confined to the basic information and applied science which science contributes. Because what actually constitutes science? We can count it in 2-3 basic aspects. Through observation and experimentation, information about the world, about the physical world, about the nature is accumulated. Now the job of a scientist is to make some certain patterns out of it. How a few number of observations can be developed into a theory or a law which will explain hundreds or even thousands of phenomena in the world. That's what Newton had done. In bringing the solar system and the phenomenon of falling of the apples or mangoes to the earth and lunar eclipse, a lot of things, hundreds of events and phenomena related with gravitation has been brought into a single 10 or 15 worded law, the law of gravitation. So that is what scientists doing, using numbers and measurements. Without numbers, without measurements, without verification, scientific ideas or principles has no much validity. It becomes speculation. It remains in the arena of speculation and imagination. It cannot be seriously taken as a scientific fact. It is on the basis of the numbers, measurements, verification, experimentation that a scientific idea or a scientific law or even a scientific observation can be taken seriously. We know that. So this way the basic science is accumulated. Then the second contribution of science is the applied science. This knowledge is applied for the benefit of the society. And this has been happening in a greater pace today. The nanotechnology, information technology, the application of science in the area of agriculture, industry, medicine, information technology, and the advancing areas like nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is full of promises that the medicines, which pharmacologically the same chemical medicines, can give greater or dramatic effects for certain diseases, and the nanotechnology, the application in the material science, in the medical science, it is full of promises. It is in the infant stage, but we can expect a lot from it. Nanotechnology and the recently completed the Human Genome Project is also full of promises in the various fields of application, including medicine and including the control of genetic diseases and many areas like that. And we have space sciences. We have to look to it, though it is a very difficult and remotely possible area for resources to Mars or even the moon. We are forced to look and search for resources. And in that, our concern, we are even looking out to the outer space. And India is a leading country in the space research and space technology today, and we know that. And we had personalities in the space science, and the lady who had to die in an accident, that Kalpana Chawla, who was an important member in that American Columbia mission to the space, and unfortunately on the return journey it had a big accident, and she died along with the whole crew of that Columbia mission. And we know that, even children also know that the new reports coming from ISRO, the satellites, the new missiles development and all that. The third issue, that is basic science, from the collecting information based on empirical studies of observation and experimentation. Then apply using that basic knowledge for application in the social area. And the third issue is, man does not live by bread alone. There are questions. So after all, though we are struggling for our existence in a very stiff competition, even individuals have to participate in this competition. But after all, it's a very brief span of life compared to the predicted or the calculated, presently imagined or speculated age of the universe, that is 13 or 14 billion years is calculated to be the age of this whole universe according to the cosmologists. Compared to that, you know that 1 billion means 100 crores of years, and 13 billion means lot of years. Human life is very small. Human's lifespan is very small. That is 60, 70, 80 or like that. So what is life? We are struggling, we are living, we are undergoing all these process of knowledge and developing family, developing business, developing jokes and all that. But after all, ultimately, what next? It's a big question, philosophy question. So this knowledge of science has to contribute, has to help us in tackling these philosophical questions also. It should give us a better wisdom. Wisdom is a very essential thing. We have conquered the world, we have become a rich people, we are very resourceful, we are very leading in the knowledge, but that's not sufficient. It should, the life after death, the correct path for the life, and these are all, but that depends on scientific and religious outlook, and this knowledge of the science, various disciplines of science, cosmology and everything contributes to that wisdom, and it must contribute. Otherwise, what happens, that is the biggest problem. The moral aspects, the ethical aspects cannot be solved within the scientific matrix itself. The answers should come somewhere else. The knowledge, the philosophy, the religions should contribute to resolve this. Otherwise, science becomes beastly also. We know that in 1845, the greatest human tragedy in the world, in the human history, was in Nagasaki, when 2 American pilots